change the world.
On we go.
Hello, bookish friends of the internet. Welcome back to Coffee Over Apples. My name is Steph. This is my monthly patron-picked book review for This Is How You Lose the Time War by el-mohtar and Max Gladstone. One of my new favorite books of all time. If I ever make an all-time favorite books list, this will be on that list. I don't yet know what, hierarchy this book is going to be on that list, but oh my god, this book was so good. It was a pick for the Sci-Fi Book Club, which is the Interstellar Book Club that I run, so if you want to join us, the Discord link is down below so you can vote for what books we read every month. And this is a speed drawing video because, as promised, I'm going to be making fan art for a book once a month chosen by my patrons, and this is it. So if you'd like to download this coloring page, the Patreon link is in the description so you can get downloadable content as a member. But let's talk about this book. This is a sci-fi romance. I adored this book. This book is perfection. And I just, I'm gonna not spoil it for you if you haven't read it. I am gonna talk about some scenes that made my heart swell, that made me kick my feet like a giddy schoolgirl, that just made me giggle. I love them. So this is a sapphic sci-fi romance. Is it a novella? I guess it's a novella. It's less than 200 pages. And it's just so romantic. It's enemies to lovers. We are following these two characters named Red and Blue. They're part of the Time War. We don't know exactly what the Time War is. I'm not going to explain that to you. It's for you to figure out what the Time War is. But they're both, I guess, generals or someone of a higher ranking who have recognized from across enemy lines, oh, that is my rival. That is my equivalent on the other side. And so it opens up with Blue sending a note to Red that says burn after reading, but in order to read it, they have to burn the letter, and then the words kind of flow out of the flames or smoke or something like that. And it's just the way that they write letters to each other and slowly over time build this connection from a distance, from afar. Their words are like poetry. Their words, if your love language is words of affirmation and acts of service, my God, are you in for a treat. It's just stunning. The leaps and bounds that they will go to be able to send each other letters in bubbles, in the tea that's left over in a cup. The one that got me, and this is relatively early in the book, I just, the thought of opening up a tree and seeing the rings that represent the millennia that this tree has grown as Red's army is pounding through this forest, and reading the inscription left by Blue in the rings of the tree over a long period of time that coalesced into a romantic letter. My heart! Okay, and then that letter, let me tell you, that letter was so romantic. I don't have a copy of it, so I can't read it to you because I had to return it to my library, but I need to buy a copy of this book. I would like this for Christmas, please and thank you. And the way that these two authors have woven the construct of time into this journey in which it may not really matter. It's not a hard sci-fi. It's okay that everything isn't fully fleshed out because it's about their journey, and their journey is a multi-dimensional journey. It touches on the idea that time is not linear, so they're going through these different events in history from different lenses, hanging out with, I think, Genghis Khan or something, in different timelines, and Genghis Khan knowing the different versions of themselves and them saying, well, I wonder which version of me that Genghis Khan met before they met you. It's so well done. I don't know how to talk about this book. So a little bit of character description, even though we don't get much. is that, so Blue comes from the side that is controlled by the Garden. That's like their empire, right? And the Garden has literally, quite literally, this natural feel to it. Blue has a little bit of animalistic qualities. They're a little bit of a shapeshifter. They're able to like take on other people's forms, and Garden is able to kind of insert themselves in other people to be able to communicate with their soldiers that are moving throughout time. Blue's story, even though they are fighting a war, and as part of being a general in that war, or whatever rank they are, they have to see certain histories come to fruition, which involve doing some horrible things, right? So ultimately, both of these characters could be seen as morally gray because they are committing horrible actions to make sure that their side wins, right? But that doesn't mean that we don't want them to succeed in their own personal goals. And on the other side of that is Red, who I guess comes off as like a little bit more of a, I don't know if a cyborg is the right word, but a little bit more mechanical. We see their side kind of being more of a conqueror, more descriptive of their armor, committing torture, those kinds of things. And so we have this contrast in their disposition, but what they're both lacking, they attempt to find in the beginning as a rivalry, and ultimately turns into something else. The way that they describe time here is this kind of warp and weft of threads that are being braided together in order to create certain histories and unbraided in other areas to undo those histories. So there will be certain missions that they'll go on where one character's mission will be to braid together these different events to make history follow this specific timeline, and someone else will come and like put a knot in that or undo the braids. And so it's this kind of back and forth that I think gives a perception of like moving up and down time. That time is perceived as linear, but that's only because of the limitations of our ability to perceive, not that it necessarily is linear. And that there are many different facets of these braids in which that they can feel each other's energy to be able to know, oh, Red was here or Blue was here. And there's something really romantic about that. Really romantic about being like, I know that the ground I'm stepping on was formulated by the events that the person that I'm in love with put to fruition. And I'm just like, I love them so much. There is this like background going on of, are they gonna get caught? Are they not gonna get caught? Is someone coming after them? Who is this person that's coming after them? So there's a lot of tension, and I was so satisfied with the ending. I really was. I truly believe that either you love this or it doesn't work for you, and that's okay. If you're the kind of person who's looking for a hard sci-fi where you want all the answers, you're probably going to be frustrated. You're probably not going to like it. If you don't like purple prose, what's the word when it's like letters in a book about letters, or a book about a book? If that's not your vibe, then this isn't going to work for you. But it worked for me. It was perfect. So my inspiration for this fan art is the braids and this contrast of time being linear and non-linear at the same time. So you have the animalistic hand of Blue and the more cyborg armor-plated hand of Red. This fan art can be flipped either way, and it'll still be somewhat symmetrical. So I really put a lot of thought into the composition of this, but I hope that you love this as much as I loved this. And I don't even think that this review did it justice. So like, can you please just go read it? Just go. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I post videos whenever I feel like it. Bye.
What's it making, Mr. Wonka? Mr. Wonka worked the factory.
In your wildest dreams, you put out the legend.